Hello, I'm Robin. Welcome to Bookspin. It's time for another monthly wrap up. So, during August, I pretty much spent the whole month on one book, which is Judas Unchained by Peter F. Hamilton, being the second part of the Commonwealth saga duology. I finally finished this book last night, and let me tell you, this was one satisfying book to finish. This is one of the longest things I've ever read, especially when you combine it with the first book, Pandora's Star, which is also massive. And you can't really separate these two books, right? They form one massive narrative. It's basically one really long novel. But I enjoyed it, and I think I enjoyed book 2 even more than book 1. It's incredibly bold and complex and exciting. It was very satisfying to read. Maybe a little bit bloated, but I was never really bored when reading it. It just took me a long time to get through. So I'm going to post a full review of that book soon. So have a look out for that. Now, apart from Judas Unchained, I've not really been reading much else during August. I've read a few Cordwainer Smith stories here and there. I am still listening to the time travel audiobook, which I referred to last time. It's called Time Machine Tales by Paul J. Naheen. And I'm making my way pretty slowly through this one. It's I think the literature of time travel is really fascinating, and it does go into these kind of literature discussions, but it also delves very deep into science, physics, and philosophy, and it's not presented or narrated in a very engaging style. So it is pretty dry to listen to. So especially for a non-scientific reader like me, it's quite hard going. So yeah, there are bits that I'm interested in and bits I'm less interested in. If I was reading this book physically, I probably would have DNF'd it quite a while ago, but as an audiobook I don't mind so much. I have more tolerance because I can listen to it while I'm doing other things, right? Like while I'm driving or washing the dishes, and I just really focus on the bits that I'm interested in. So yeah, let's move on to September TBR, and I think September is shaping up to be a pretty exciting month. I'm going to start things off with a buddy read, okay, and this is going to involve Chris from Liminal Spaces and Jim from News from the Gelding, two of my favourite channels on YouTube. So the book we are going to read is City by Clifford Simak, which is a classic fix-up novel from the 1950s. This book I've been meaning to read for quite a long time. And I wanted to get another buddy read going. I haven't done one for a few months, and I thought this would be a good choice. So I reached out to Jim and to Chris, and they were happy to take part. So the plan is we're going to have an online discussion once we've finished the book, and I will upload that onto this channel. So keep an eye out for that. And another book I'm planning to read this month is Second Foundation. Look at this nice vintage copy by Isaac Asimov. Another absolute classic. This is the third book in the Foundation trilogy. So I've been making my way through this trilogy very slowly. I read Foundation last year. Yeah, sometime last year. And then I read Foundation and Empire around about January, I think it was, this year. And I didn't really want to leave it too long before I finished off the trilogy. It's already been about 8 months or something. So I think I need to finally finish off this series. Now, Asimov can be quite dry with his prose, so I found the Foundation books so far can be a little bit not particularly engaging or gripping. But I did find that with the second book, Foundation and Empire, I really kind of got into it once the character of the mule was introduced, and so I'm curious to see where the story heads from here. Right. Now, I've got these two classics to read, but I'm also going to give the TBR picker a spin, so I can choose another book to add to the TBR. It's been a couple of months since I last did this, so let's see what comes up. Here we go. An epistolary novel. Okay, so an epistolary novel. I think this is quite an interesting category. I did have a look through my bookshelves and I've picked out 3 books which I consider to be epistolary novels. It was a little bit difficult. I was kind of limited by the amount of options I had available. I'm using a kind of wider sense of the term epistolary novel. Not just a novel of letters, but any kind of literary work that tells its story through documents, whether that be letters or diary entries or reports or whatever. So this is what I've picked up. These are all very interesting books. Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes, which is an absolute classic, and I've been meaning to read this for years. And now will be a good chance to read this, I guess. It's a classic. I've heard this one is a bit of a tearjerker. It's written in the form of laboratory progress reports, I think. So it would definitely qualify. So that's an option. Less well known is this book, The Moon is Hell by John W. Campbell. Quite a nice cover, I think, on that one. It says here on the back, this is a great writer's vision of the first men on the moon, not as the American space program made it happen, but as it might have been. And this is written in the format of diary entries. So that could be interesting as well. Not as well known as Flowers for Algernon. So that's an option. And finally, I've got another absolute classic. We, the classic Russian novel by Yevgeny Zamyatin. And this one I am very excited to read. This is a classic dystopian novel which is said to have influenced many of the great dystopian 20th century classics like Brave New World and 1984. And it can be considered an epistolary novel because it's written in the form of progress reports. So I think this qualifies. So the question is, which one do I pick? I would quite happily read any one of these 3. I'm going to discount The Moon is Hell because I don't know if this one's any good or not. It may be, but this is not a book I've heard anyone talk about. Whereas these 2 are widely considered to be sci-fi classics. So, which one do I choose? This is a really hard choice. But I am slightly more tempted by We. Okay, so I think I am going to pick We. I'm going to add this to my September TBR. I will read Flowers for Algernon at some point. I just not this time. Okay, so We. I can finally tick this book off my classic dystopian novels list. And yeah, I look forward to that. I'll be talking about that book soon. So there we have it. I've got 3 books for this month. 3 classics, actually. Now, if I get through all of those and I still have some time left over, I might read something else, but I think that's enough to be getting on with for now. I think after spending so much time on the Commonwealth Saga, it's quite refreshing to have some nice, shorter reads, some classics to get stuck into. So that's it for my September TBR. But before I go, there is one more thing of interest which you may be interested in before I wrap things up. So, Alastair Reynolds. I'm going to be interviewing Alastair Reynolds shortly for the Birmingham Science Fiction Group on the 12th of September, 8 p.m. UK time. So I'm looking forward to that. This is not connected to the channel, but if you are interested in attending that interview, you can buy tickets on Eventbrite. You can attend in person or online via Zoom. So I'm going to post the link to that event down in the video description. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.